trying to get my dribble right. Shout out to the Netherlands. Shout out to Canada and the Philippines. They all out there hip-hop and tuning in to Gully TV. For those who tuning in, if you've been following the channel, you notice I've been uploading a few archive videos, you know what I'm saying, some classic material I did with Head Ice in my living room back when Gully TV was in its infancy stages. Ice was one of the first big name Harlem guys that I profiled on Gully TV. He was actually kind of served as my G-Pass up there in Harlem. Once I did right by Ice once I did right by Ice, the rest of Harlem was like, I was basically like giving the key to Harlem and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? After Ice came Uncasa and da-da-da-da-da. But Ice, shout out to Ice. Boom. When Ice came here in 2007 and shit, he brought a guy with him by the name of Coach. I think Ice was one of the first to record and then basically, put him on like, yo, this is my man, put him on. The guy Coach, the brother Coach, he was a real deep dude, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is my first time having experiences with aura. I think he was the first person that said the terminology aura to me. He was fresh out of the penitentiary, very educated. He was razor sharp, like, one of them intelligent, super intelligent, pro-black, strong niggas you meet in the penitentiary and shit. Like I said, he had just came home, and while we was recording this shit, it was just something about him that was exceptional. I just couldn't put my fingers on it. And whenever Ice, whenever I did a freestyle with Ice, he would, let him finish it off, like kind of like the icing on a cake, you know what I'm saying? So obviously Ice felt highly of him. But I remember during this recording, it was a Sunday, sometime in there he told me, Coach told me, yo, you might have heard of me and my family. We the niggas who had the Tiger in the projects and fucking in Harlem and shit. You ever heard about that shit? And I'm like, yeah, because I did hear about it. I remember seeing on the news somewhere or in a magazine that they found a motherfucking Tiger in a motherfucking project apartment in New York City. But we hip-hopping and recording and shit, so I'm not really focusing on what he just said to me. Like, if a motherfucker tell you they got a Tiger in the projects, that shit, you like, alright, yeah. That shit just goes over your head, you know what I'm saying? About 3-4 months after we recorded, they went back to Harlem. Ice went on to become who he became, and I was laying around one night and I was watching Animal Planet, and they had a segment on there about the Tiger in Harlem and shit. So, I had kind of forgot that Coach and Ice told me that they was, that Coach was the nigga and shit. Him and his brother, Antoine Tiger Man Yates. He was like, yeah, these are Tiger niggas from Drew Hamilton Projects in Harlem. But like I said, it went over my head. I just wasn't paying any attention to it. So months and months later, I'm laying around in the crib smoking, watching Animal Planet, and I heard his voice. And I was in another room, and I'm like, yo, oh, that sounds familiar. And I ran to the TV, and it was him, sure enough.
Right here was, all this was abandoned lot. All these buildings that you can see from right here going over down the block was abandoned. Only thing that stood up straight was the church. It was all garbage here. Graffiti was everywhere.
He's telling the story on Animal Planet, how he came home from the penitentiary and his brother had a fucking Tiger in the apartment in the projects.
I used to get letters from him in prison. He would write certain things on it that was like almost like it was scripture, And I would look at it and say to myself, what is he talking about? What does this mean? He would write things like, the Lion's Den.
Blew me away, you know what I'm saying? And it was just a very exceptionally eerie experience because this nigga was in my crowd. I know this nigga. I really know this nigga. I know this nigga. I didn't rub elbows with him. We still have a relationship to this day. I still speak to him and shit. And is one of the exceptionally talented people who came out of Gully TV. I want to share a clip of the story, the Tiger Man of Harlem, and then I'm going to hit y'all with a freestyle from Coach. Shout out to Harlem and everybody in Drew Hamilton. This is the story of the MC with the Tiger in his apartment, courtesy of Gully TV. One.
When I finally get home, I said, how's Antoine doing? My mother tells me, she says, oh my God, I don't, crazy. And start laughing, and start chuckling. So I start laughing too. She said, you'll see him when you get there. So I said, all right. And I haven't seen him in 7.5 years. So we embrace, and he's telling me, he said, yo, I got something that I need to show you. He said, this ain't. So I'm saying to myself, being that we come from the environment that we come from, what does he got upstairs? Has he got an arsenal of guns, a grenade or something? I mean, what could he possibly have? And me being me, I'm, acting cocky. I walks over to the room, I looks in the door. All I see is one eye. His eye looked almost like the size of a pool ball. But it was shining. It was like a bright color. I jumped back. I said, yo, what you doing with this? He like, yo, I told you, man. This is serious. I said, nah, man, this is beyond serious. This is crazy.
Antoine fell in love with the animals, but he was finally convinced to part with 3 of them. But there was one he couldn't let go, a tiger cub he named Ming.
My relationship with Ming was very, very unique. We had a bond that was basically unbelievable.
Time passed, and Ming grew up without ever leaving the apartment. Eventually, Antoine found himself living with a 500-pound adult tiger.
I'm guaranteed to get them nude, hit them with light conversation to set the mood. Coach down, golden child, moving defined smooth with patience to love the vine rule. Soothe them where they're aching, no making spasms. Puerto Rican, no Jamaican, ain't no faking orgasms. Laughing when they shaking, I be drilling them, killing them, while I'm giving them back shots, sling cock like Lex stealing them. No fag though, we can role play, but don't drag ho. I let you tie me down and brag though. Envision that, it's no game, you want pain, burn you with candle wax, but you can handle that. You bad, a madman. Separate the men from the boys. Women who love this real shit. From those who prefer toys. Transform for the club. Keep it thug, straight stud, no dud. Fuck Chris style, I get them bud.
Ooh, they can't fuck with us, baby. They can't fuck with us, baby. They can't fuck with us, man. Gully TV, me. Harlem. Underworld, baby. Word, they can't fuck with us, man.